I've always been a fan of the Penguin. Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot. He's one of those villains who can kill you while still looking dapper and debonair. Like he doesn't doesn't usually want to get his hands dirty. He'll kill you with a with an umbrella machine gun. A gentleman thug. One of Batman's most underrated foes, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure that my first introduction to this character was in the animated Batman Adventures when I was little. Him and the Joker, they were both kind of silly in those cartoons. Batman would team up with the Scooby Gang, to take these guys on. But it wasn't until I saw Batman Returns that I really fell in love with the Penguin. He's like a dark mirror version of Batman, of Bruce Wayne in particular. The orphan socialite with a chip on his shoulder and a legitimate business to cover up his mysterious nocturnal activities. Batman uses his resources to fight crime and make Gotham a better place, while Penguin uses crime to gain power and influence in Gotham. Uh, so in the series, we see mostly from Penguin's perspective, but there are a couple of other characters we follow, such as Sophia Falcone, daughter of Carmine Falcone, and Victor, this young man whose family tragically died in the flooding that the Riddler caused in the Batman movie. So the series takes place just, I think, a couple months after the movie. We last saw Oswald looking out on Gotham, and in his face we can see the power mad, the power hungry guy we know him to be. He's gonna seize power while the iron is hot, while the opportunity is there. So throughout this series, we see him maneuvering the pieces, maneuvering people to where he wants them to be. We see him meet with Falcone's son at the beginning, and Autumn, like right off the bat, they're at odds, and so his son, Falcone's son, says something that sets Oswald off. Basically, tells him like you're never gonna rise to the top. Like you're nothing. And Oswald is just so uh insulted by this that he just shoots him. Like he loses it and just shoots him. So right off the bat, in the first episode, we got Oswald killing mob bosses because he would have been the de facto mob boss, with Carmine gone. Carmine, we saw him in the movie get killed by the Riddler. The Riddler sniped him in front of all the cops in Gotham, and Batman killed him. Uh, in this, he's played by a different actor. We got uh, what's the name? John Turturro said he didn't want to play a character that is, being violent towards women, but even though he played him in the movie and he was choking people out in the movie, women. But anyways, we got Mark Strong, who's also a good actor, really good actor. Uh, so he turns up in flashbacks that that Sophia gets. Sophia is the main antagonist. Well, I should say the main rival to Penguin, because Penguin is an antagonist. Let's be real. He's sort of a protagonist, but he's mostly an antagonist because he is the one setting all the events in motion. He's the one pitting the mob bosses against each other. He's the one pulling the strings. He's the puppet master. Right from the start, Sophia has a feeling about him, like I can't trust this guy, but he kind of reels her in. He makes her think that he's on her side, but then when push comes to shove, he just leaves her holding the bag. He's not actually in it to help anyone but himself. He's only in it for himself. And kind of fools the audience. Like Colin Farrell is so good as this character. I hope he plays him for years to come. I hope he plays him in a bunch of movies, more series. I hope they make a Batman series with like all the villains. if that was a smart thing to do, that is a smart thing to do. But Warner Brothers, they don't always do the smartest thing. We see right when they meet again, because they've known each other for a long time. But we find out in flashbacks that he ratted her out to her father. He sold her out. Her father, Falcone, accused her of doing the murders that he did. So she gets sent to Arkham and ends up there. And so she hasn't done a thing. She gets accused of these murders. But then she gets manipulated in Arkham by people that Falcone put there to drive her crazy. There's a doctor that she falls in love with that works in Arkham. And so she ends up killing somebody in Arkham. She essentially goes mad, but it's all from them manipulating her, egging her on, gaslighting her. She just loses it. Like this woman that she was at odds with, she just ends up killing Magpie. Okay, we get a comic book cameo, Magpie, who's immediately killed in this episode because she ends up killing her. The Penguin, he meets up with this kid. Okay, this kid tries to steal his hubcaps, and so this is like kind of an homage to Jason Todd stealing Batman's hubcaps, and that's how they met. But this is like a dark, like I said, Penguin's like a dark mirror of Bruce Wayne, of Batman, and this kind of reinforces that. He meets this kid trying to steal his hubcaps, and then takes him under his wing. They become buddies. He becomes his mentor essentially, and so the kid starts doing everything for him. Starts following him around a lot. They get into all kinds of hijinks. They get into trouble. But the kid's got his back. When push comes to shove, the kid has his back. Victor. So Penguin sees potential in this kid. So when the scene comes up at the end of this episode after he meets the kid, that they both know he's gonna kill him. Like he's decided to kill Victor, and Victor pleads with him, "Please, no, I'll do anything. I'll do anything you want." And Penguin, seeing the potential in him, seeing him, as useful, maybe, decides to take him in. And so that's when he just starts using him for everything. And it gets to the point where Victor, seeing an opportunity to leave, decides not to. I think this is from when he found out about his parents dying in the flood. But I was thinking about when there's a part in the series where he has an opportunity to leave Gotham to go find his girlfriend because she's waiting for him, at the, I think it was a bus stop. So he's in his car and he's about to go over there. He gets outside the bus stop, sees her, and decides not to go. Like he just decides to stay with Penguin. Now this is one of those decisions that just could change a person's course of life forever. And it does end up doing that because, yeah, we'll get into it. But see, he follows him around. He's doing everything for him. He even takes care of his mother because Penguin has his mother, hidden out, in the middle of suburbia. The other mob bosses don't know about. Like Penguin has told everybody that his mom is dead. Both his brothers are dead, and we find out how in the last couple episodes what happened to them. So Penguin's also trying to make good with the Falcone family, what's left of the family, and and the Maronis too. He's meeting Salvatore Maroni at Blackgate. That's Clancy Brown playing him. He played a good Maroni. I just wish he had been in the series a little more. Also, the only other thing I complained about was the changing of Oswald's name. They just call him Oz Cobb in this instead of Oswald Cobblepot. I'll always just call him Oswald Cobblepot. But uh, uh, they just wanted it to seem a little more grounded. Like they thought the name sounded more realistic, which I don't know. I guess. But you find any of the action figures that came out when the Batman movie came out, and it says Oswald Cobblepot on everything. So I'm still calling him that. Uh, so you also got Sophia. She gets out of Arkham. She meets her family, what's left of them, and they're underbosses, and sees right away that none of them respect her. None of them actually want her there. They would have preferred that she stayed in Arkham, but they're all, smiling at her, real nice, and friendly. She can tell though that they're actually snakes in the grass. So she ends up killing everyone except for this guy right here, that's staring at her. He was one of the main underbosses, and so she uh, holds him hostage for a while, but eventually offs him too, because he wasn't going along with her. Like he pleaded with her for his life, but then as soon as she got him a place at the table, he was undermining her, so she just offs him in front of everybody else. That scene was a lot of the scenes with her were pretty incredible, like pretty bone chilling because she was pretty nuts. This is the scene of Penguin watching Victor bury somebody that he killed because the guy was going to think on them, was going to muscle in on their territory. They start selling this new drug that's like derived from mushrooms, and they start selling it underground in this abandoned um, subway line. So all the while this is going on, I'm wondering like, where's Batman? Where's Batman? Well, and not to the end do we even get a hint of him, but we always kind of assume that he's helping people out, from after the flood, the cleanup effort, the people that are down on their luck, he's helping them. So Penguin and Victor, they're having some victories. They're they're living high on the crime life, but at the same time, Penguin, he doesn't feel like it's enough. Like he feels like he should be higher positioned than he is. Like he should be the boss. And Victor, he just wants to matter. Like he feels like the work he's doing, it may be iffy. It may be like on the outskirts, but he feels like his life isn't pointless at this point. He feels like he's doing something with Penguin. Like he's gonna move up the ranks. Penguin still trying to manipulate uh, Sophia. Actually, does get pretty close to her, but then when when push comes to shove, when the Maronis show up and they want her dead, they want him dead, he takes off. He's leaving. Victor comes and picks him up and gets him out of there. So his relationship with his mom. Okay, when I first saw her, I was thinking, all right, are we gonna get like Tony Soprano and Liv Soprano kind of relationship, and it wasn't exactly that. Like when when he first meets her at her house, they he gets her to dance with him, and I was thinking, okay, wow. I remember Tony trying to get his mom to dance with him, and she just refused. She flat out refused every time. But look, uh, Cobb, Oz has his mom dancing with him, so I was like, okay, maybe this is like the opposite kind of relationship, and they're just really close. And then I hear her give this whole speech to Oz, like encouraging him in his life of crime. Like, wow, all right, they're going a different angle with this. I want to see more with these two, see what their relationship is actually about. And you get into it in later episodes, and it's a lot more twisted than you even. So Penguin, ever the master manipulator, just rises up in the ranks till it's just him and Sophia facing down. When all right, so there's an explosion, right? Somebody, okay, Sophia has found his hideaway, his lab that they're making the drugs in, and they have it blown up. So a lot of his people get killed. He tries to make a deal with all the mob bosses, even gets some of the underlings to kill their bosses, because he gives this whole impassioned speech to them. He's very charismatic. As ugly as he is, he's very charismatic. He can orate very well and, you know, convince people that his way is the right way. So he gets these underlings to kill their bosses, the number twos, because hey, why not be number one? You got a chance. So then he's maneuvering himself to take over like all the gangs. Then then Sophia kidnaps his mother. She found out where she lived. So now he's got this dilemma because Sophia threatens to cut her fingers off if he doesn't do what she says. So we see in the scene how much he actually cares for her. But we don't know yet that a lot of it's an act because he only ever really cared about himself the whole time. So he gets his mother. Victor helps free his mother, and then he sets Sophia up to get arrested. So she is sent back to Arkham. And then after all this, he sits down with Victor, and I'm thinking, oh crap. All right, this is the last episode. He's probably going to kill him. I kind of figured at the beginning that Victor was not going to last this series. His character was doomed from the start. Like, once he fell in with Penguin, he was marked for death. And that's exactly what happens. Penguin tells him how good of a person he is, and like that he couldn't have done any of this without him. Um, but what he doesn't say is, or I think he does say it, that loving people, it drags you down. That having people that you care about, there'll always be a vulnerability for you. So he doesn't think he should have anything like that in his life. So Victor, unfortunately, gets choked out by Penguin, and then his ID is thrown in the river. Penguin throws his ID in the river and leaves him on the bench. So that was the last we see of Victor. And Penguin now, he's gotten into his more traditional garb. He's looking dapper. He's got, the tuxedo. He looks more like he did in the cartoons at this point. He's even got his top hat. So the last scene we see of him, there's a couple of scenes. Okay, he goes to see his mom, who's in the penthouse. He had always told her he wanted to get her a penthouse, in the city. So he's finally done that, but now she's a vegetable essentially. Her brain is just gone, but she's still aware, but she can't move at all, you know. So he tells her all this, like, I finally did it, Mom. I got you here. She's crying. There's a tear drop down, and it's such a sad damn scene because you can see this guy is just heartless. He's telling her all this, but he doesn't really feel any of it. He doesn't feel anything for her. He just wants power. That's all he wants at any cost. And he's got his girlfriend. So he had a girlfriend throughout this whole series who Sophia does try to um get to him through her, but it doesn't work because she finked on him like right away. Now his girlfriend at the end is dressed up like his mom and dancing with him. It's such a sick thing. Uh, it's like he's always had the. It's kind of an Oedipus thing with his mom, and at the end we see this, and I'm like, oh man, I feel nauseous watching this. But you're supposed to feel that way. He's not a good guy. You're not supposed to feel sympathy for him. Not really. There might be some things in his past that happened that may have shaped him into the guy he's become, but ultimately he's decided to do all these things and he likes what he's doing. So he tells her at the end, like, nothing's gonna stop me. Like, I'm gonna take Gotham and nothing can stand in my way. And then we get this shot. This was freaking perfect. Because it's like he's forgotten all about Batman. Like, Batman's still out there, man. He's gonna come for you. Like, anything you do, he's gonna be watching. Uh, so just a all around great series, start to finish. I could not stop watching this. It's eight episodes of pure DC goodness, like greatness. Uh, as a DC fan, I couldn't get enough. I can't recommend this enough.